for October the 21st, 2019. In case of an emergency, I would ask that you exit through the rear doors to the parking lot. We're going to stand for 30 seconds of silent prayer, and then I would ask our Highway Superintendent, Matthew English, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're having a little technical difficulties, but this meeting will be dedicated in memory of Mary Lou Hicks. Madam Clerk, will you take the roll?
Supervisor Megan.
Present. Councilman Hart.
Present.
Councilman Hamel.
Present.
Very good. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from October the 7th, 2019 work session.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from the 2020 tentative benefit basis budget and the 2020 tentative ad valorem budget meeting of October the 7th, 2019.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Minutes from the 2019 October 7th town board meeting.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Make a motion for proofs of publication and a posting of a legal notice of a public hearing to hear all those persons interested in the adoption of a local law number 4 for the year 2019 tax levy limit override in the town of West Seneca. Making a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Anyone from the public that has a comment?
You want to raise the tax?
Any board members? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to move then to close the public hearing.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Make a motion to accept the resolution for the town of West Seneca local law number 4 for the year 2019 to establish the override of tax levy limit established in the general municipal law section 3-C.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving on, just so everyone knows, we have held over the public hearing for our tentative budget. We will continue to accept any comments from the public. Any comments on our public comments for our communications?
Susan Kimms, 99 Covington. Agenda item number 1, the resignation of Jackie from the Planning and Zoning as Secretary. I was wondering when we would be appointing someone to those positions and who it might be.
Sure. Jackie is going to have her last day tomorrow, or Wednesday, right, Jackie? And Amy Kobler will be the next town clerk. So tonight, right after we take care of Jackie's, we'll appoint Amy Kobler.
And we will give her a stipend as we did with Jackie?
Oh, yes, yes.
And it will be the same amount then?
Correct.
Okay. And agenda item number 5, the budget transfer for the sanitation roof. A couple of years back, we had replaced a roof on one of the buildings over at the highway department. I wasn't sure which roof it was. Would it be the same roof?
No, it's not the same roof. That's actually, the sanitation location for that is the transfer station too, and it was the sewer roof. But it's part of the sanitation listing on our insurance.
Was there any sort of warranty on the roof that we have?
No.
This roof was about 40 years old. It's never been replaced.
It's not the highway garage or at the highway building.
No.
This is over on Mineral Springs Road at the sewer station.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did we bid that out to come up with that figure for replacement?
Well, yes.
For which one?
The
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
sanitation sewer, the roof that we just
On the
replaced.
sanitation building?
Yes, what it is we use it for storage for all our street sweepers and equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, to come up with that figure, was that
Yeah,
was
we
that
had
bid
three
out?
quotes, we had 3 quotes put in for it.
Okay. And was that announced? I mean, I generally?
No, what I do is I send out about 6 or 7 emails or letters to different roofers and anybody that wants to bid the job or quote the job, and I receive 3 back. I believe there are 39,000.
Matt, you can start using the microphone,
Okay,
you fixed it.
39,000, 34,000, and then the 31,000.
And that's all I have.
Thanks, Mrs. Kims.
Thank you, have a great evening.
Yes, you do the same. Okay, anyone further? No? Okay. The first item on the agenda is from the supervisor's office, kindly accept the resignation of Jacqueline A. Felser as Planning Board Secretary, Zoning Board Secretary, effective October 31st, 2019, authorizing the supervisor to complete and sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. I'm going to add this motion, this would actually be a walk-up. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Amy Kobler as the Planning Board and Zoning Board Secretary and authorize the supervisor to complete and sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question? On the question, just noting that the stipends will remain the same. Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 2.
Item number 2, I'd like to offer a proclamation in honor of the Friends of the West Seneca Library, and I'd like to recognize them for the great service that they do to our library in fundraising and many, many other events, sponsoring speakers and so on. They do a great deal of work for us, and I'm very proud to be associated with them. What was that? Just on the October 20 through 26th is going to be National Friends of the Library Week. This is a proclamation for National Friends of the Library Week recognizing the Friends of the West Seneca Public Library. Whereas Friends of the West Seneca Public Library raise money that enable our library to move from good to great or even greater, providing the resources for additional program, much needed equipment, support for children's summer's reading, and special events throughout the year. Whereas the work of the Friends highlights an ongoing basis the fact that our library is the cornerstone of the community, providing opportunities for all to engage in the joy of lifelong learning, reading, and connecting thoughts with ideas of others from ages past to the present. Whereas the Friends understand the critical importance of well-funded libraries and advocate to ensure that our library gets the resources it needs to provide a wide variety of services to all ages, including access to print and electronic materials, along with assistance in research, readers, advisory, and children's services. Whereas the Friends' gift of their time and commitments to the library sets an example for all and how volunteerism leads to positive civic engagement and the betterment of our community. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Town Supervisor Sheila Megan, Councilman William Hanley, and Jean Hart, declare October 20 through 26, 2019 as Friends of Library Week in the town of West Seneca, and urges everyone to join the Friends of the Library and thank them for all they do to make our libraries and communities so much better. And I'd like all the Friends of the Library and our director, who is here tonight, and please rise. I'd like to give you a round of applause and thank you for all your hard work.
If I could just say a word.
Any comments? Take the mic.
There you go.
I'd like to thank Jean very much for this honor, and also Sheila Megan and our councilman, Mr. Hanley. Thank you very much for this great honor. It's an honor to work for the library as a volunteer, to ensure that we continue with the idea that libraries are for everyone, for the very young, for the very old, for those in between. I'm also very, very grateful to the Bee, because they allow space for our weekly column that designates what we are doing in the library, all the great programming that happens, and they afford me space every month to write a column about the library. And I have a great story to tell you. I've been working on a project, and you may have seen the signs around. Someone is looking for more information about our very first library and our very first librarian, who is Matilda Ebelauer. Matilda Ebelauer dedicated her home at the top of the hill, right across from the candy shop over there, the ice cream parlor, right where the electric sign is. There was a beautiful Ebenezer wool house storage house that she lived in. She gave up her house to make a library, and she became the librarian without any pay at all. Well, I've been looking and looking for more and more information about Matilda, and I spend a lot of my free time doing that. This past week, and I thought, oh, what the heck, I'm gonna Google this and see what happens. Guess whose name came up? Mine. Because of a wonderful article that was printed in the West Seneca Bee. So that was a surprise, and I want to thank the Bee for doing that. Thank you all for being part of our library.
And Mrs. Wise, I did finally get that telephone number you're looking for. Don't let me forget to give it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. We'll make sure it gets on the sign too. Okay, moving on to item number 3. From Chief Dents, please authorize Detective Lieutenant Kevin Baranowski to attend New York State Arson Investigators Seminar, November 6th through November 9th. Seminar is to be held at New York State Academy of Fire Science at Montour Falls, New York. And it is required to maintain his certification as an arson investigator. The total cost of this training shall not exceed $375.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Item number 4 is also from Chief Dents. Please authorize officers Sherry McParling and Abigail Ray to attend the New York Women in Law Enforcement Training Conference, November 13th through November 15th in Saratoga Springs, New York. The attendance at this conference will not exceed the cost of $800.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 5 is from our grant writer. Whereas the following public hearing of September 23rd, 2019, which was held at the West Seneca Community Center for suggestions for a public from community development block grant projects to be submitted for funding. Therefore, let it be resolved that the West Seneca Town Board submits the following project to be considered for funding for Erie County Community Development Block Grant Program during 2020-2021 grant cycle, requesting $100,000 in CDBG funding. Our first priority is milling and resurfacing project for the following roadways: Durstein Street from Manhasset Street to the city line, Edson Street from Manhasset Street to the city line, Kirkwood Drive from Seneca Street to Indian Church Road. These streets are all in the CDBG eligible areas. Therefore, let it be resolved that West Seneca Town Board authorizes Town Supervisor Sheila Megan to sign, submit, and execute the contract with Erie County Community Development Block Grant Program for the cited projects. Upon approval, the ECCDBG, now therefore be it resolved that the West Seneca Town Board provides 26% match, $56,315.63 for the first priority project using $25,000 in force account labor from account number 2.5110.1 to line item and $31,315.63 in cash from 2.5110.4 line.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item is a budget transfer for the Sanitation Department building roof repair, authorizing the Director of Finance to present the attached budget transfer for the necessary repairs to the Sanitation Department building roof in the amount of $31,575 from the contingency account .10480 to the sanitation repair maintenance account .10445.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Next item is from Lauren Massett, our Recreation Director. Please appoint the attached list of individuals to the corresponding positions at rate pay effective October 22nd, 2019 through May 31st, 2020. These hires are contingent upon background and drug testing and proof of physical as outlined in the town code. Authorizing the supervisor to complete and sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 8 is from Tina Hawthorne, our town attorney. Kindly schedule a public hearing at the town board's regularly scheduled meeting to be held at the community center and library at 1300 Union Road, West Seneca, New York 14224 on the 4th day of November 2019 at 7 p.m. to hear all persons interested in the creation of a lighting district number 68, Royal Coach Road, Deer Chase Road. I have attached a petition received by the town of West Seneca from residents proposing the district, requesting an establishment. The property boundary subject to the special district is described on the attached petition. The proposed improvement includes the installation of 19 LED decorative streetlights. The estimated cost to purchase and install is $142,000. The annual cost to the residents of the district is approximately $254 annually over a period of 15 years, plus $15 annually for operation and maintenance. A map and plan and report describing the improvements are on file in the town's clerk office.
Second.
Anything on the question?
Yeah, on the question, I just want to note that this is scheduling the public hearing, so if there's any comments from the residents, especially in the Royal Coach, Deer Chase, if they want to say anything, this would be, next meeting would be a good time to come up and say something. I'd also recognize Mr. Ken Hansen, who's in attendance tonight. He did all the legwork for this, trying to improve his neighborhood, so Ken did all the legwork, had all the signatures, and did the work to get this project started, so thank you.
Just another real quick note. This is a district, so it's, the charges that you see are only to the residents that live within that district that we're going to create.
Correct. That is correct.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 9 is from Megan Wennick, our Director of Finance. Kindly move to provisionally appoint Rosalie Metzger as account clerk typist in the Finance Department at an hourly rate of $19.63 per white collar contract, Group 3, Step 1, effective October 22nd, 2019. Erie County personnel rules governing temporary and provisional appointments. This hire is contingent upon background check, drug test, and proof of physical as outlined in the Town Code, Chapter 25, authorizing the supervisor to complete and sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Maybe just
I
go
would-
back on this real
What?
quick 1 second. Currently, we have 2 people doing all of our financial work. Unfortunately, we have lost 2 people, one to resignation and one unfortunately passed away, so now we're finally being able to fill one of them to take some of the burden off our Director of Finance and our only account clerk typist in that department.
Thank you, Jean. But going back before you became counselor, we lost a person there too. So we had 6 in that department and we're down to 2. So now we're moving it up to 3 and we're still looking to hire another person to fill that void. Thank you, Councilman. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the reports of Jacqueline Felser, receiver of taxes, for a report for September 2019.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Make a motion for accepting the report from Jeff Schieber, our Code Enforcement Officer, Building and Plumbing reports for September 2019.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Approval of the warrant.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, anyone from the public that has a comment, feel free to come up to the microphone. Is there one?
Beverly Lysing, Harwood Road. Last year, we started a group of people that West Seneca Cares, and we took on Seneca Manor for the people who do not have any family, to give them Christmas gifts and things that they could use. You asked some time ago if I was going to do this again, and I decided that it's necessary to do this. I have contacted Seneca Manor, and we have a list of 12 women and 4 men, and they are asking for bathrobes. They do not need the throws, but they do need some hygiene soaps, shampoos, non-slip socks, and etc. I have a list of all the things that they need. If anyone would like to help us by contributing dollars so that we can purchase these things, remember last year we were very fortunate in a way because Kmart went out of business. And luckily, no other store is going out of business right now, so we have to pay full price. So anything we can do to help these individuals would be appreciated. And you can contact me at any time. I'm in the phone book, or just anybody, just feel free to help all you can. Thank you.
You're Beth. I'm gonna be your first contributor.
Thank you.
Beth, I was just wondering.
She's got all kinds of money to take this.
Yeah, I will be contributing, but
Okay.
do you have a Facebook page?
No, I don't know how to do that. I don't even know how to help other people.
I wonder if one of our young people out here could help, or we could find somebody to help.
You know what, we'll
'Cause
put it
that would
on our
help you a
Twitter.
lot.
Okay,
I'll have Emily put it on our
And,
Twitter and our Facebook.
How
okay, you
about-
got my phone number and
I do.
everything.
How
Okay.
about on our webpage also?
I just said that, yeah.
You said Facebook.
That's our webpage. Oh, you mean our webpage, the
Our
town
web-
page?
Oh, yeah. Why
No,
not?
I might not.
Could I have your phone number? Sure.
That sounds great.
Because I got
Thank
lots
you
of
so much,
celebrities at
Beverly.
home.
Beverly,
But I
send me
need
an
to get
email,
rid of.
okay?
I've got too many.
Thank you.
Yeah, just put your name in,
I guess we could put it.
what is it, Seneca
Okay,
Manor.
anyone further? Okay, I see that there are a lot of high school students here. So as soon as we go through this, any one of you young men and women can come up and get a signature. But first, I'm just gonna go to Lauren. Do you have anything for us?
I just have one item today.
Okay.
I want to remind the public that our Enchanted Path is this Friday, October 25th, 2019. Doors do open at 6 o'clock, but I recommend getting here early as there is usually a line. And capacity is limited. It is first come, first serve, and it's $1 per person regardless of age, and all the proceeds benefit our Youth Engagement Service Program.
Lauren, how many, when you say capacity, how many are we taking before we close the door?
I believe we can get about 100 people in the gym at a time, so they have to wait in the hallway as people funnel in and out.
Okay, great, thank you. Great event last year, well attended. Bill came with his little guy.
What time is it?
6 o'clock.
Tina Hawthorne, do you have anything for us?
I do not.
Okay, Matthew English, do you have anything for us?
I do not.
Chief Dens?
I do not.
Jeff Baska?
Just quickly, I just want to say that with the time change coming up, it is a reminder that every 6 months you need to change the batteries in your smoke and CO detectors. So with the time change coming, if you do it on that schedule, please remember to take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Jacqueline Felser, do you have anything for us?
So no.
Okay. Jean Hart, do you have anything for us?
I just want to let the public know, of course, November 11th is Veterans Day, and there will be a special program here at the community center. I also want to let you know that myself and Nikki Carnes are working on I wanted to talk with the board briefly about this and get your permission. A walkway of honor inside of the community center the week of Pearl Harbor Week, the week of December 7th. And what we're planning to do is honor all of the West Seneca residents who are Purple Heart veterans, and we'll put up the certificate that they received when they were entered into the Purple Heart group in the book that Mickey Kearns maintains. And I wanted to make sure or check with the supervisor and Councilman Hanley if they have no objections to that. And Supervisor, if you could, if there's no objections, to reserve the week of December 7th for an honor for Purple Heart veterans in our hallway and in the salute the room behind Spot Coffee.
Right, there is a room behind Spot Coffee that is, we refer to it as Eddie's, and it is for our veterans. Also, there is a Purple Heart parking spot, which will be painted purple this week. We have Accent Stripe out there striping this beautiful new parking lot, which may I say we got with a grant. And also, Mr. Hart and Councilman, I want you to know that it's an honor and a privilege. You know, it was very important to me as a councilwoman to rededicate this campus to our veterans. It used to be called Centennial, and now this campus is given to our veterans. And it's wonderful. Thank you, Jean.
We're also hoping that you'll be part of that.
As always, you know, I'm all about it. Mr. Hanley, do you have anything for us?
Just one comment, we talked about zombie homes at the last meeting. There was a meeting today with one of the banks, an out-of-town bank that was held here. And we came to a settlement with that bank for, they're gonna pay the town $18,500 because they were neglecting one of the homes that was in West Seneca. So we reached an agreement today, we were trying to get $20,000, we did settle on $18,500. So it's a nice plus for the town, to let you know that we are holding the banks accountable for the zombie homes when they refuse to do their jobs.
Thank you again. Okay,
One more quick item. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I wanted to thank our Buildings and Grounds Department for getting the handicap accessible button installed on the north side walkway, something that should have been done in the beginning, but it wasn't. But now it's been taken care of. So there is a button on the north side which will make it much easier to enter this building from both sides.
thank you, Councilman. Okay, well, for all those men and women who have served this great country, and for those who continue to serve, we thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Have a wonderful week. All the students, feel free to come on up and we'll sign your paperwork.